thanks for coming out. I know some traffic was tough and whatnot, so we're glad to see you. It's now my honor to introduce our guest speaker. His name is Will Shields. A lot of you know him as a Kansas City Chief. He's also a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Class of 2015. That sound right? So he's pretty good at what he does. And he's also the owner of 68's Inside Sports, which is an amazing fitness and training facility in Overland Park. And Will and his team can train athletes across the spectrum of sports. So we're really happy that he could come and talk to us about fitness for performance and injury prevention. So please help me welcome Will Shields.
Thank you, guys. If you notice, I put cards on every, so you guys can take a look at it and see what the things I'm going to go over. Basically, what we're trying to do is actually create a new kind of program that actually encompasses a lot of different pieces that are hot buttons that have been talked about throughout the community over the last 5 to 10 years. Basically, I call it the 4 wheels to succeed. Basically, I took 4 pillars, and we're going to start there and work our way forward. As coaches, we always want to know what's the basic premises of how we're going to get the best for our athletes. How do we get to them? How do we learn how they think and everything else? And this is a process that we'll all go through. I'm trying to make it easier for all the coaches that are in the room. So first, we go with concussions. Basically, it's the big hot topic, and we actually have a machine that actually does baseline testing. And this is something that will actually come to you. So let's say we set up an opportunity for us to come out and work with your group or organization. We find a way to bring out all of our equipment to you to get it done, unless you want to bring the teams into us to get all 4 phases done at the same time. And so what we do is we start off with the baseline testing, and we do vision, what we call vision therapy. We basically go to a point and we say, instead of being reaction, we call it pre-action. We actually teach them how to see the field, feel the field, understand the field. So then when they do react, they know how to do that. We call it fall, ball, and crawl. So you got to figure out how to fall like you did before, crawl like you did before, roll like you did before, so that you don't have the concussion pieces and things like that that comes to play. The next is called nutrition. If you don't have your nutrition right, you can fall into these other issues of not being able to perform at a high level. So what we're going to do is actually teach you how to eat the right way. And so we actually have a nutrition coach that would be assigned to your group and organization that will be part of this. And they will actually help you talk about nutrition on the road, nutrition at home. And as we all know, it starts with not only the coach, it starts with the parents. Because I ask my kids every day when we train, I said, hey, what'd you eat today? Well, whatever mom cooked. And so then we know we've got to get to mom or dad or whoever is providing the food sources to make sure that they're getting the quality food that they need. You know, hydration is a key and those different things. And so what we do is we add a element of understanding what true nutrition is from top to bottom. And basically it's interesting because it took me up until this age of 45 to really figure out the nutrition for myself. So think about all the years you played sports and you did things and you had no clue how well your body could perform if you had a better nutrition while you were playing. I tell people I played 14 seasons. If I had better nutrition, I could have at least won 20 seasons easily, just by nutrition alone. You know, the rest of my body feels good. It was just the nutrition that made everything else feel like crap as every day, day in, day out. And that's part of it, because that's the same ups and downs and peaks and valleys that your kids you're training are going to have because of the food that they put in their system. Third piece is mental. Now this is a cool, unique piece that I'm just now bringing to the Kansas City market. Imagine if you're a coach and you walk into a room and you are able to hand a document to your coach that goes, Coach, this is my mental makeup. You think that'd be beneficial? So now I don't have to spend all the time going, I wonder how he plays, I wonder why he ticks this way, how can I yell at you and you get it, but then if I yell at you, you shut down. So I have to figure out all this, and I got to spend all that practice time trying to figure out what buttons to push, what different things to do, how to do it. We take all the guessing games out of it. So we basically give kids young profile tests to understand how they work. And not only do we give it to the coaches, we give it to the parents. So now the parents know how to coach their own kids and help them, and it's by the profile that the kid gave. Matter of fact, when we talk to each other this day, how many people talk through phones as far as texting and everything else across the board? All of us do. We don't talk to each other anymore, so I can't get in front of you and you know exactly what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. And kids today, they'll walk up to each other and go, hey, did you talk to him? Did you say what's up? Did you say hello? Oh yeah, I texted him on the way in. And they're good with that. But you can't find out that mental makeup because they're not going to be in your face. They're not going to tell you what I need. You're going to have to pull it out of them. So we actually take that process and we call that the profile. So the profile itself will actually let you know what kind of coaching you have to do for each kind of kids. And it's broken out in 10 different phases, and we're able to actually give it to you on a great platter for basically an unbelievable process of how we do it. And you do it once a year. So those of us that have stacked teams, you can take your U13s, 14s, 15s, A, B, and C, and you can actually now dial in and see my A team that's U14 has weaknesses in these areas, and I can work on it as a group. And it's all done for you. And I know for me, I was sitting here going, I did this on my staff last week, and it's the coolest thing ever because now they're talking about what kind of person they are to each other. So now they go, so now I know I can't tell this one thing, I've got to actually tell him straight off, you need to do this, and this, because that's how their mental makeup is. Where the other one, I've got to go, it's okay, come over here, we'll talk all on our own, and we'll get this done. Yeah, I need for you to do this, I need for you to do that, you got that, you do this. So you actually can mentally get that done from beginning to end. The next phase is the physical piece, which most people go, well, why wasn't that up front? Because if you don't have the other three, your physical is only limited by what your mental will let you do. And your mental is only as good as you are in shape and mentally and your nutrition and all that piece. That all plays a game. So if you're physically fit, that's great. But you can only use that for so long if somebody can get into your head. And somebody else can manipulate you. Somebody else can use that to their advantage. So we go physical last. And the first thing we do is what we call functionality. So we want to be able to test out the functionality of what they're doing. How do they squat? Do they have weaknesses in their hips? Do they have, so we do that from day one, so now we're not guessing. You have that kid that comes down and goes, I don't know why that left knee keeps going out. We understand because there's a weakness there because we did the pre-test at the beginning of the season, gave them things to work on so that they can get stronger as the season goes on. The next piece is endurance, just like anything else. We want to know what endurance state they are at that point and what state you want to get them to so that they'll be the best player on the field. And then, of course, agility. We always want to know who's quicker, who's faster, who can move laterally, who can do this. But still, even though you get those pieces in play, you'll still go back to the profile piece to figure out where they fit in your scheme. So it'll actually tell you who are the leaders, who are the people that really want to lead, some by vocal, some by example, some by hey, I'm a follower. That's just how I roll. I'm okay. You tell me to go, I go. As long as it's from a person that I know is a reputable source, I'm good with that. So that's how you'll be able to position people in the right place at the right time to know what they're doing. And so this, I think, is the first time I've ever seen this concept meshed together by one group to be able to pull it all off. And the other thing that's on this is that when we get to the point of, let's say we want to do a soccer combine for say, we'll do this all at one big swoop. We'll have everybody in, we'll do it all together, or we do it in small groups, either way. And everything is digitalized, it's tested, it's done that way. It's not me doing handheld stuff, it's all, hey, kid gets to control it, they'll have a wristband, bing, they'll do the drill, we'll watch the drill, we'll market the drill, and then it's done. Now what's really cool about it is that then all of you will have two portals. One portal will be for the physical part of it, and then we'll actually add in the mental part into that portal. So, and that's controlled also by the parent. So the parent can look at that and go, I wonder why my son is on the B team instead of the A team. And I can actually show you by the metrics, this is why your son needs to work here or your daughter needs to work there. So it actually helps you out as coaches to give them that differentiator of, I need them to get to this. And now the kid has a goal in mind without them setting it on themselves. I want to play at the next level, I need to work on these things. And it also gives you this cool thing on the back end of it, that it gives you what we call the mental makeup strengther. So it actually makes you stronger as you go through. So every week you'll get a little test, you'll get a little challenge, to work on the things you're not as strong on. So for me, as an athlete, I am what they call a knight, which is pretty cool for my position. I'm a protector, I work well. I'll wait till somebody else says it, and then I'll do it. The coach tells me what to do and gives me parameters, I'll do it to the T, and that's what I want to do. Now, I might find 5 different ways to get there for the fun for me, to keep me from being bored, but I will be by the T. I'll never fall out of that range. And so this gives you an avenue of where you fall in and how you work as a person mentally. So this, I think, is the first concept of all of this put together. And to me, it's the most important piece. Is we call it the whole person approach. And really, we're not building them just to be the best athlete or player. It's the best person. So when they walk out of the game, of whatever it is, they're a better person. They still know how to compete. They still know where they fit. And they still understand that they're just as important as anybody else that's on the field. And that's where some kids lose that identity piece of, well, I'm just here because that other person scores all the baskets. Well, if your mental makeup is that you are a scorer and I've got you playing a position where you can't score, then it's going to be detrimental to you because you're mentally going, I should be there, I should do this. So you're not doing the thing I need you to do. But as a coach, we need to understand the different mental makeups. And I know when we were kids, or when I was a kid, my coach would yell at everybody the same, equally. Yelling across the board was fine for everybody else. But luckily, I grew up in a military background, so I was used to that. It was no problem to me. I could handle that because, Dad believed in that strictness. And so I became used to that piece, but there's a lot of kids these days that aren't used to that. That's not how they're brought up. That's not how it works for them. And so we have to go with the times, and I think this is sort of the new age and new way of doing it. And so I just want to bring it here and let you guys poke as many holes in it as you can, ask as many questions as you can, because this is all part of a learning process. And then down the road, 6 weeks, about 5 to 6 weeks later, we're going to launch this. And it's going to be rolling. And I would like to let you know that there's already a lot of pro teams that's won a lot of Super Bowls and championships, including the Royals, that's used some of the processes to get to where they are, but they haven't put it all together like we are right here for our use. So if there's any questions, let me know. We're located 2 blocks from the mall, Oak Park Mall, but we will be able to make it mobile so we can bring it to you.
And really interesting. So what's this question for my benefit?
Yeah.
When you work with parents, obviously you see a lot of parents in different environments, not just within the organization. Can you talk about the experiences of parents that have their kids in sports, what we might consider the more noble reasons, friendship, health, well-being, and also the parents who really just see their kids maybe one day having the type of career you have? So some people are looking at the end product, and what are your experiences with parents in that regard?
We have a little bit of both, and so we actually take and we sort of change their view of what they're doing. So we try to change the parent that says, like we have a kid that we've been training, his dad calls him his meal ticket. That's my ticket right there. He's going to make it. He's going to make something happen for us as a group. And that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure and pain on that kid is that, hey, you're going to have to do it because nobody else is. I'm not going to be able to do it myself. And then you have the other round where we have a young guy that comes in, and every year we know he's going to get better because he's going to be in better shape and better peace. But we also can sit and explain to the parents, this is why he's doing it. This is his socialization. This is him being around other kids at other times. Because if not, he would sit by himself, play on the computer, and not be around other people at any time. And that, to me, is something that we're missing as a whole group. And so we actually go through and we explain to the parents of why we do certain things. There's some classes we do on purpose that we want girls and boys to be in the same class. And I know some people say, oh, I like the girls to work out with the girls, and I like the boys to work out with the boys. There's more bonding. I said it depends on the sport they play, but also depend on how good is that girl. How competitive is she? Might need that other competitive piece to get to where she wants to be. They say the one regret you might have, mine is I didn't make my daughter play enough sports against boys when she was younger. So she got used to it because she was always a bigger girl, but she was always the more athletic girl. But I only had her play with girls, so she knew, hey, don't foul, don't touch, don't do this, don't do that. So by the time she played girls that played against boys, she was behind. And I should have known her mental makeup because she's my twin. And we want to compete, but we also want to be friends. We want to make sure people still like you. We still want to make sure people are around. So that's the other piece, and it's more of a socialization piece as you grow up. And until you decide, this is my sport, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to pursue, and it's not the parent's choice. That's the harder part. It's the child's choice. And that's the hardest key. But as us as coaches, and being that part, we have to explain to them that, hey, he just doesn't love the sport, or she doesn't love the sport. They like doing it, they like being around their friends, and they're doing it for their friends, but they're not necessarily doing it for a scholarship. They're not doing it because they think they're the best at it. And that's where we're hoping that this testing piece will actually bring out of some of these kids to understand that it's okay to communicate the things that you do and don't want, because it's more important for you to be the well-rounded, feel comfortable person than to be that person that's ostracized because you can't or you won't.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tom, how many kids do you do at a time?
I can do 100 kids at a time. And within a 4-hour period, I probably, let's say I did 100 kids at our camp 2 weeks ago. It was my trial and error. And so it was my trial to see how many kids can go through. Because basically you do part of it at home on your own. With the parents sitting there, you take your test and you do that part on your own, which I would like them to do it with us because I don't want the parent there so they can give their honest opinion and not, well, no, you don't think this way, you think that way. No, you don't think this way, you think this way. No, because then you're getting the parents' test and not the kids. And that's the most important piece. So I'd like to have it where all the kids actually take the test. And it's 20 minutes and it's on the computer. That's one piece. And then the baseline is actually done. We actually have a different piece that we use for it. And it's different because it's not a computer test like this. It's actually hand-eye coordinated. It's us seeing what they can do from the beginning and then taking them through it so they understand all the different parameters for the baseline itself. And then we can do the post-concussion also. So if they were to get concussed, we can tell you what percentage and that kind of stuff, and when they need to see their neurology, and then when they should be thinking, even if they are thinking about going back to play.
So what age group would you start with that? Because we have 500 kids in our club.
Yeah.
They start at U4
Yeah.
up to 8th grade.
So for your group, we would go 4, 5, and 6, easily 8, because they don't have the concepts at that, but we'd start about 9 or 10 and go up from there. Because the other kids itself, I mean, they're not even reading yet, they don't understand the concepts. So but about 9 or 10 is where we'll start and go from 10 up. But the other aspects of it, the concussion test, their brain is actually changing every 2 to 3 months, almost 4 months. So basically, for them to be beneficial, they would have to retake the test every 4 months, as far as the concussion test would be, because their brain is changing anyway so fast. So they'll get better and faster as they move through. Did that sort of answer your question? Okay.
You mentioned testing your staff. So when you have a team come in, do you also kind of put their coaches through the same programming just to kind of see who balances or who matches with
And
the
that's
athlete?
next. That's
Okay.
next what I want to do with everyone, but I'd like to, even if I have a camp, so I've got a camp in 2 or 3 months down the road, I'm going to have all the kids that register, I'm going to send them the link and have them actually take the test. And then when they show up to camp that first day, they get a color shirt that matches their profile. And then from the beginning, we're going to see if they actually migrate to each other or separate from each other. And that's something else that's really cool about the test, is that now you know who to pair with who to push each other or push someone else to get better, and then how to unpair them for certain things and certain pieces of what you're trying to accomplish. So that's the cool thing that I like about it, is that I can pair, someone to myself and go, okay, we work well together and I wonder why. And then you look at the test, and even at work, when I did the one at work, I basically was predicting who was going to be alike by who they hung out with. And they go, we're twins. They walked in and goes, I got my results, we're twins. And it's like, yeah, I can see it. You guys are together all the time, so you would be pretty close. But the thing is, they didn't meet until they actually started working it. So that's another piece, yes.
You're obviously and understandably selling a service, but is there tips that you can give to the coaches here that they may be able to apply on their own?
Yes, and what I'll do is actually give you a chance to go through it. What would you apply? What part would you want to apply on your own? Because actually, if you were to go for me, I can actually set you up to where you can do it all yourself, or do part of it by yourself. The mental makeup piece, like you can do that on your own. You'll get a portal with all your kids in it anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
This notion of, the notion of compatibility.
Yes.
So down the line, you would actually potentially be able to say to a coach, maybe you're not compatible with your group of athletes because your group of athletes are wide away. You might be able to say to a group of coach, your team is not compatible because you've got some opposed personalities as opposed to single collaborative.
And it breaks it all down to a point to where it actually goes the red. Of course, the red, green, and yellow. Green is the go team, it's that. The yellow is in between, and then it has your red markers. And then it'll have players broke out in certain things that are bigger red than others. And as you go through it, you'll go, these 3 kids need a little more push to get to where these other kids are. And I have to push them in their own way. So I can't just push them all the same, but I need them to get up to that other level so then they mesh.
So just to carry on that thought.
Yes.
If back in your career,
Yeah.
a coach had identified that he had all these knights, but he didn't have a king or a leader, whatever
Yeah.
the analogy is. It has implications for how you build your team, right?
Yes, and the scary thing about it is I had basically from Marty Schottenheimer through Herm Edwards with my coaches. There was a coach in the middle of there, Coach Brunel. He actually did it by the science of numbers. That's how he put his teams together. So they won the Super Bowl in St. Louis. He actually took his roster from St. Louis and matched it up with his roster of the Chiefs. And he just used numbers. He didn't use the mental makeup of it. He just used numbers at that point. He goes, hey, this guy ran so many kick returns before you, or 4.40. I need to sell Dante Hall on what this kid did, and I can go, Dante, you see what that kid did? You are him. You are faster than him. You're quicker than him. You're more athletic than him. You can do what he did plus some. And at that point, Dante goes, really, coach? I'm telling you, you can. And I believe you. You can do it. You can do that. So the perception was, hey, this kid just wasn't at that level yet because he didn't know all he could do. But then he came in and sold us on numbers, even to a point to where we're in the game. So if there's a turnover, there's a certain percentage, because he had been there for 14 to 30 some years studying the game. There's a percentage of 86% you're going to lose a game if they intercept and take it to a touchdown, or if you do a kickoff return for a touchdown. We're on the sideline as a team, and we're going, man, we just took that ball. We got 86% chance of winning. Everybody got positive. Now, if it happened on the other end, man, we got 86%. We got to fight to get out of this. We got to beat the odds. We got to figure out what's going on. So we actually start mentally understanding those numbers and start fitting that into the goal. So if you've got players that you want to fit into those goals, you got to know what that goal is, for one. And then second, you got to be able to put them into that place. But also, you got to be able to nudge them where they want to be. And if you're a parent trying to do it, you go, hey, if I pay you $20, would that work? You're sort of asking that question to a kid. And any kid that's smart goes say, sure, Dad, pay me $20. Because I'm getting paid money for it. Not that I really care. I just want you to say, Dad, I did a good job. I'm happy. Instead of having to go with those things. Now, there are some kids that will go, hey, money does motivate you. And that's what they like, or that's what they need, or that's what they want. But other kids are more or less, hey, I'd rather you praise me for what I did in front of people or by myself to get me to the next level. But as a coach, you don't know how that fits. And that's why I also would love to have the coaches take the test, because then he can give it to the parents so the parents understand, hey, I'm a knight. I don't like criticism. So if you're going to criticize me, first of all, make sure it's well thought out, because I think I've thought of everything. And second, we need to do it over here, where you're not just yelling, you suck, coach. My son should be doing this, this, and this. And I'm looking at you like, oh, really? Wait till your son comes to practice with you. So that's so you start working together, you understand each other, and that makes it easier. And of course, it does open yourself up a little bit to understand what that mental makeup is. And so I've had other people take the test and they go, that's just not me. It's not me at all. I'm just telling you, it's not you. And I'm looking at him like, are you sure? Because I've been around you for a long time and a lot of this fits you. So that's the other piece. But that's where I think that piece is going to be so important. But also within that, the rest of it all encompassing makes the team better, makes the organization better, which also makes you a stronger adversary as you go out and perform at a higher level. Yes, sir.
I have one more question. I'm going to take this back to when you were a youth player.
Yeah.
I'd like to know who your most memorable coach was, how they helped you and shaped you into a player that missed how many NFL games?
0.
You got it. How many years?
14.
Okay. How did those youth coaches shape your passion for the game, the way you took care of your body as a player, and affected you, I guess, over the long haul?
Well, the coolest thing, Coach Ortiz in my 6th grade year was the guy that came in. He had the coolest car ever. He had the Firebird with the fire on the front. And I was like, dude, this is the coolest car ever. You know, he was our coach. His son was our quarterback. And basically he goes, you know, you guys can be as good as you want to be. It just depends on, you know, what your mentality was. And at that point, we had our regular, we were green and gold, ugly green and gold color. They were so bad. But we had green and gold colors, and it was the first time he actually said, you know what, we're going to get sponsors, you're going to have your own jersey, and you can put your letters on the back of it, you can put your name on the back of it. And so what I did is like, okay, you know, asked my dad, what can I put on the back? He goes, oh, you can't spend no money on the back of your jersey. That makes sense. So this coach actually gave me my own little thing. I said, well, I can put 2 letters on the back. So I put JR for junior, because that's what they called me in my house. And so I was like, I just put JR on the back. But that was my most memorable year. And the thing of it was is that changed my mental makeup. And then when I got ready to go to high school, all the guys that had been there before me, my brother was 7 years older than me. So I got to watch them go through high school. So I'm sitting here going, I got to be ready. And I didn't know that my brother was considerably taller than everyone else. So he's like 6'3". And then his friend, we call him Campbell Soup, because he's almost 7 foot. And so, you know, these are guys I played on the street with. So I just assumed everybody was their size. So I started working out going into my sophomore year differently because of feet. That I was going to face guys that were just as big as them or bigger than them, not knowing that they were unnaturally big. So then it was like, okay, I got to face these guys, so then I got to get to that level. So that actually got me in the best shape of my life. And then from that point forward, I never walked anywhere for like 4 years in a row. I would never walk from drill to drill. I'd run from drill to drill. When we ran runs, I would actually let the guys lead in front of me just so I could catch them. Because I got my body in that kind of shape to where I could just run and run and run. And so it helped me a lot, because the thing of it is, and like I say in this, if you're never tired, you can't be whipped. He can physically beat you on a play or two, but if he can't beat you on 70 plays, you usually win. And that's the whole point. And so right there was my turning point. But then I had a coach in high school that brought a little more mystique to it. And we have a small school in Oklahoma, and we actually use the phrase called Hanteo, and it's clear the way, and it's a Sioux word. And basically he goes, in I think it was like 65, we won every state championship that could be won in Oklahoma. And so we call ourselves the home of the champions. And he basically used that as our mantra to bring it back and us win a state championship. And so those little things made it different, and they made it more meaningful to me. And that's what made it that much more important. And so those are little things you can use within your groups to make a difference. And the thing was cool is that he gave us all different names. So we were the Hogs because we were, swallowing down, block people and hit people and that kind of stuff. Even our DBs, they were called the Greyhounds because they were supposed to go catch anybody when they got away. And so he made it fun. And also as kids, you just think of it as, I'm part of the Greyhounds, or I'm part of the Hogs, or I'm part of this. And it's that connection and camaraderie that made it that much more unique. And so that's what made me never want to miss a game. Never want to let my guy down. Never want to be a part of not being on the field. And some of it was selfish. I didn't like people playing my spot. I was just downright selfish. I didn't want anybody there. And part of it is when I first got here, I had a guy tell me, hey, the first day we knew you could play, we're looking for 5 more to replace you. And they were actually paying me money to play. I didn't want anybody in that spot. So that every year, every time it elevated, to more and more and more. But first you got to prove yourself that you could play, that they're going to give you a chance. So that's sort of where I go, and I just want to get kids to that point to where they just feel comfortable enough in their own skin to know what they're doing, get coaches comfortable enough to say it's okay to teach 5 different ways if you have to, and it's okay to put them in different positions and different things because your mental makeup works that way. So that's just sort of my little spill on all this, but this is what I want to launch here in the next 5 to 6 weeks.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.